What is your promise? Why are you in business? How do you expect to grow?
This is The Hook, a show focused on branding, marketing, and business development.
You brand to inspire, not to sell.
Jason Arsmont, the Marketing Maverick, gives expertise to business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in building a stronger company brand.
Creating a brand is like telling a story. You've got one shot to say it all.
When your marketing works, you've got them on the hook.
It feels like the first time. Like the very first time. Is that a song or something? We've been gone forever, it seems.
Feels like a long time.
It's nice to be back. This is the Hook Radio Show, which has been on, I wouldn't say a hiatus. We just had some things to do. That's the Marketing Maverick, Jason Arsmont. But we're back now.
We're back. And
Yeah.
if you hadn't listened to our shows before and you tuned in a couple weeks ago, we were just playing like best ofs.
Yeah.
You probably didn't even know we were gone.
Those were the best of shows. I had, I put in there the one that Cryo Recovery did, which was a great show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And
With Bill Hanks.
Mm-hmm. And we also had Carl Lewis on.
Oh,
So
again.
Yeah, again, that's right. So we had some good shows for you to listen to. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it. This show is really about you and your business. Are your business sense, things that are working for you, things that might not work for you, and give you some tips here and there on how we might be able to, on this radio show, help you out.
That's
for
it.
these few minutes. And maybe you'll call us to help you out after that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, and that's the reality check here, which is why we've been gone is, we don't do this full time. We've got full-time jobs at a company called Brightbox. It's brightboxonline.com. It's a full-service brand marketing firm. You go check them out if you're interested in any marketing, advertising, branding, web, social media, PR, what else? Video.
I'm thinking of what don't we do at this point? Events. We have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they pay my full-time check, so
Yeah.
it's not like I can say,
So when things hit the fan, we
I'm
got to
not
go
doing this.
we
Yeah.
got to go pay attention. And we've been working on some really cool things for this show, guys. I've been getting a lot of feedback, and we've been looking at partnering with another group. I can't say who just yet, but we're hoping that this goes through and we'll be able to
Don't
bring
do
you guys some
that.
great content.
don't do that. You're not supposed to jinx us like that. It is the week after Halloween. Things could go crazy. I know.
Yeah. Well, jinx or not, I think we're going to do some of these new things with or without this partner. But, just so you guys know out there that we are looking for ways to bring you more tips, make it more interactive, make it more fun. And so, yeah, that's, we took a little hiatus, took a couple weeks.
And you not only can be the consumer, but you can also be a contributing sponsor. We wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, you can sponsor or shoot us an email. Go to thehookradio.com and share your stories with us. If you've got, if you think you'd be a great guest, if you've got some battle scars and war stories of business that you'd like to come on and share with our listeners, we'd love to look into that and possibly have you on the show and come share your experience with us.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I want to say yesterday was my oldest daughter's birthday, so I don't do a lot of family shout out, but happy birthday, Nina. Daddy loves you.
Oh, God.
She's 17, so she probably won't like that. Yeah, awesome. Birthday times around the house are always cool. And then I was gone, man. I couldn't have been here even if we wanted to. That was the other thing.
Yeah, you took off for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. How long were you gone?
I was gone. Well, I went to Paris for a week and a half.
Okay.
And then I was
On vacation?
It was not vacation.
I know, but I tell everybody at the office, I say, Jason's on vacation this week.
Jet setting around the world.
You actually went with a client, though.
I did. I went with a client. I'm going to fill you guys in on what we were doing over there, business-wise, in a little bit. But it was. I'm not a good traveler. Do you travel well? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're good at it?
As long as there's beer, we'll travel.
Well, yeah, I definitely enjoy traveling and drinking. But man, those flights going overseas at like 12 hours, 10 hours. I mean,
Okay.
I can run across Texas, but man, I can't do a 12-hour flight. They just about kill me.
Let me rephrase this. I would be a really good traveler, but I haven't done it yet. I've never gone overseas.
Oh, well, Josh's like, wait a minute.
I went to L.A. one time and then got on a boat and went down.
Took a train to Mobile once.
But I haven't gone overseas. I would love to see what that's like. So if you want me to fill in for you, I'll
maybe
definitely do that.
Maybe next time I'll take you with me.
Instead of your wife?
She might not like that.
I don't think that's going to work, brother.
Yeah, Paris was cool though, man. I was kind of surprised. A couple things. We saw the Mona Lisa, was much smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Saw the Eiffel Tower. It was much bigger than I thought it would be.
Really?
They had, did you know there's 2 statues of Liberty?
Yeah, because they created it for us.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they gifted the big one.
Yeah.
But they've got a little mini version there on that little main river there, which I thought was cool.
If you want to see the mini version, just go to Vegas.
They've got I think that one's bigger than the mini one.
There's actually another mini one. If I saw it a few weeks ago, whenever I went to Louisiana, there's a truck stop outside of Scott, and I think Dusson, Louisiana.
Nice.
And there's a mini one there too. If you want to check that
Dusson.
one out. Yeah, it's
with Liberty.
Duscon. That's Dusson.
Dusson. Man, well, yeah, but Paris overall was a great city. I went there for a client, actually. So we're doing an exhibit for them this year at Consumer Electronics Show, CES.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had any clients mess with that show yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, really, really neat show. I've sent a lot of clients to that show as far as, building trade show booths and marketing materials and sending it over there, but I've never actually attended. And so this year, this client's got a big booth, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go. Well, they said, you know what? Our corporate offices are in Paris, and every year they do CES Unveil in Paris. So you should come. And I said, I should.
Yes.
Yes, I should. So we went there, and that's what I'm going to fill you guys in today about what I learned there at CES. They have a lot of emerging markets, emerging new technology that's coming out. I'm going to share some of that insight, some of the stuff that they shared with us at that event. Could be things you can integrate into your company. As the entrepreneur business starter, I was just drooling thinking of all the different technology and new opportunities for startups. It was probably good that my wife was with me because she's like, no more businesses, Yeah.
At the same time, you said that you were really excited about that. And whenever there wasn't business stuff happening, that she was dragging you around the different places, and you got sick of it real quick.
And I love you. I love my wife, but I'm not a history buff. And, most of the days I would get up, I'd go to a meeting, I'd come back, and she's like, oh, we're going to go check out this church, right? Okay, cool. Well, let's go check out a church. Take an Uber over to the church. Well, she didn't mention it was like a 10-mile walk around the church and into other churches and other historical markers. And I've still got my business clothes and my shoes on. My feet are killing me. And, I'm just get so bored, like reading French plaque after French plaque. Like, I don't even know what they say. I don't know what's going on.
You're so American.
I just want to go to a gym or go skydive or something. I just need something a little bit more, get the adrenaline going. So it's very chill in Paris. Petty.
You could have checked out some wineries or some breweries.
I didn't. Yeah, I kind of let her lead the schedule, man. She was just having such a blast. I was like, all right, I'm gonna let you do this, babe.
And good thing you let her down easy by talking bad about it on the radio.
Well, yeah, that's assuming she listens to my show.
All right, so that's Paris. We're going to talk a lot about that.
Yeah, coming up.
And there's other things to talk about on this show, too. Something that we've been dabbling a bit with lately.
Dabbling?
Yeah.
With Ignite?
Yes.
Yeah, that's big. That's coming up next on the 11th. So let's see. That's going to be at the University of Houston. If you haven't heard of that, that's actually going to be next week already. Wow.
It's Ignite Houston.
Ignite Houston. You can go to Facebook's probably the best way to check them out. Go to facebook.com, and then in the search, just start typing Ignite Houston, INGNITE, Ignite Houston. And what this is if you're familiar with like TED Talks, it's kind of similar. And I've done one of those just in case you're wondering. Little TED Talk. Yep, little drop. It's similar to that, except it's condensed. So they'll probably have 8 or so different speakers that evening, and you only get 5 minutes to talk. You get 20 slides that are set to flip every 15 seconds. So it's an automated kind of presentation. You get 5 minutes to impact the audience, send your message, do some type of delivery mechanism. And yeah, so it's usually really, really neat. It's exciting. It's fast-paced. You'll have 8 to 10 different presenters. And yeah, I mean, the topics are always really, really good. I think this is the second or third time they've done it here in Houston.
So you do all of that in 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Everything you have to do in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you get up on stage. They say go, and every 15 seconds, your slides start going. And so you got to get through your presentation pretty quick.
And let me tell you, it's Ignite, IGNITE. Ignite. I had a little misspelling in here.
Oh, that may have been
spelled it
me.
wrong.
What did I put? IN?
Yes,
in Ignite. Yeah, so
Ignite, not
there
ING.
we go. All right. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
going to be
making
good
sure.
if you're going to go search that they search for the right thing. Yeah. So Ignite. Yeah, definitely encourage you guys to check that out. I will be a speaker this time around. I've attended this thing several times, and they've reached out and asked me to come talk. So I will be speaking. Would love to see you guys there. Be a great way to get to meet you face to face. I think it's like $5. So sign up. Bring a friend. Should be good. Maybe it'll change your life.
So what are some of the talks that you've seen before, though?
Oh, they could be anything from how I quit smoking to global economic situation resolutions, right? Like they can be from really big, heavy topics all the way to something kind of small. But even if it's kind of a small topic, it's supposed to be really impactful. So I'll be talking about human trafficking as it relates to large sporting events, i.e., the big football game coming up in next year.
That's right. We can't say that. I don't think we can say the name of it, but
maybe not. I don't think we can, so that's why I didn't. But I think everybody knows what that is.
All right, cool. Well, look that up. It's Ignite Houston on Facebook, IGNITE. That's the Marketing Maverick, Jason Arsmont. We're going to come up next with our business tip right here on The Hook.
Yeah, we got drunk on Lost in a good boulevard.
You are listening to The Hook on this fine Saturday afternoon. Can you believe we're already in November?
Yeah.
It feels like we just started doing this show, and it's been over a year now.
Are you going to do that thing in November where you don't shave?
Nope. Nope, not happening. No.
What is that? What is it?
It's Movember.
Movember.
I'm not going to do
I
that.
keep thinking it's like Brovember, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Well, it kind of, whenever you broing out and you're not shaving.
I guess so.
It's like when you go on a camping trip, you're not going to shave.
Yeah, you
But then when you get home, the first thing you do is take a shower and you shave. I don't know. That whole I don't get into that. Can't.
That's
because
okay.
Think about that. If I go to a client and I haven't shaved for a while.
It's Movember.
I don't know. They're like, "Hey, which Robertson are you from?"
You feel like you just got to wear like a name tag explaining it, right?
no.
And mine's so patchy. If I was really trying to grow it, I'd have to explain it every time I went somewhere.
You would look like you just got out of jail.
I look like a 14-year-old boy trying to grow a beard. It's so bad.
This is The Hook, if you didn't know it. Sorry, we got off on a little tangent. That's Jason Arsmont. We call him the Marketing Maverick, and this being brought to you by OnToBoxTraining.com.
OnToBox Training is our corporate training group. This is where we do, pretty much all of our training for our clients, from sales training, social media training. We do workflow process analysis, all different types of stuff. If you've got a department or a group within your company that's not performing well, or you just like to get a second opinion about properly training them or getting them caught up to speed, give us a call. Go to ontoboxtraining.com, ONTO, ontoboxtraining.com, and check us out.
You always say onto.
OnToBox.
I say onto.
That'll work too.
Okay.
That'll work also.
Just tomato kind of thing?
Tomato. And we're supposed to do our business tip.
Okay.
But I think we're going to push the business tip, because the business tip, it'll fit if we put it in later.
Okay.
Because what I want to do, I want to talk about this trip that I took to Paris and this CES show, Consumer Electronics Show.
All right.
And so those of you that are just tuning in, I was talking about last segment about how I took a trip to Vegas. No, I took a trip to Paris to go to CES Unveiling, which is a large consumer electronics show. Usually, or every year, it's in Vegas. It's a huge, huge show. And this is where all the Sonys and, the PlayStation units and Game Station controllers and all that kind of stuff, all the big electronic companies, they do all their big unveilings. Apple always does something at CES. It's like the entire Vegas Strip. It's over 223,000 square feet of exhibit space. 3,800 exhibitors, 7,000 consumer products have been introduced at CES over the years. So it's like a huge thing. And so I was really, really excited to be able to go to the unveiling in Paris, which is where they say, these are the current trends. Here's some stats over what has happened over the past couple of years.
Was Elon Musk there?
He sat right next to me.
Okay.
Awesome. we went and grabbed some lunch, and no, we did not. But that would have been cool. But yeah, guys like that, they want to run with the kind of shows that I go to. So Elon, if you're listening, let me know. I'll get you a pass next time I go.
Maybe we'll put you on the show. We'll
see.
Maybe,
if we can fit you in.
Yeah, depends.
We got a lot of big guests.
Sorry, I kind of derailed you right there.
So it's all right. One of the things that I thought was interesting about France and Paris was that I didn't realize that it was such a entrepreneurial city. Like this year at CES, 2,000 attendees will be coming from France. Over 200 exhibitors will be French exhibitors, which is kind of cool. And these are all startups. 142 startups already are going to be signed up and ready to exhibit at next January, I think is a show. Yeah, next January at CES. I mean, that's a lot of startup tech power coming out of this country, and you can really just feel it when you're walking around the exhibit hall and talking with the folks. Everybody's leading in technology and innovation and this kind of entrepreneur spirit that honestly I've felt in California before. I've felt in New York when I've been there. And Houston's just is like the hub for that. There's a lot of entrepreneur spirit-minded things going on here all the time, and so. What I thought I'd do is kind of go through some of the things that I felt were interesting. One of the big things that they saw coming out for next year was really that voice computing. Now, do you even know what that is? Who knows? No. So voice computing is like Siri. When you tell your phone to do something and it understands what it is you're saying. Or like dictation, right? So you'll talk to your phone and it'll write your text out for you.
I was trying to explain it to someone the other day. They now have it where you can talk in your phone in English, and then it'll spit out what it means in Spanish or some other language.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, what's interesting about that space is that, so like in 1995, whenever it kind of first started coming out, 100% error. Right? So you would talk into the recorder and the computer didn't understand any of it, right? By 2013, it was up to 23% error, which is a big jump. But then now they're saying it's basically human parity. So they're saying by like the end of this year, some of the new technology that they're seeing right now going into 2017, your phone and devices that do this type of voice computing are basically 100% accuracy. Mm-hmm. Unless you're from Louisiana, Josh.
You know what? In some of those backwoods places like Chautauqua in Louisiana that are like a village, I can't understand them. I'm Cajun.
Yeah. So that human parity is really, really cool. So they're talking about some of the next interfaces will all be voice commanded, which means we're talking about faceless computing. So no screens on your computer. No screens will be necessary on some of the new devices that are coming out, seeing some of the other wearable technology that we'll talk about in a bit. So I just thought that was really interesting. And when you start thinking about it from a business standpoint, this is where kind of the startup guy or entrepreneurial mindset that I have starts going in a lot of different directions going, man, okay, how can I now use this technology that's 100% accurate into startup features and modes and things that we could integrate into new things to get a competitive edge. So I thought that was really neat.
Have you ever seen Alexa? You know what it's something
home
that Amazon puts out, and it's a speaker that you say, Alexa, put a timer on for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it'll start the timer. Or Alexa, play Journey. We did that this past weekend.
Yeah.
And so you can tell Alexa to do, I want to listen to Alternative from 1995. And it will find it for you.
And play it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Home automation was a big, one of the big things. It wasn't one of the top 5 that I've got here, but home automation is going to be huge going into 2017, mainly because of this voice computing, right? Mm-hmm. They now have computers and devices that will understand exactly what you're saying and can then, as long as you're synced up to that kind of data, right, i.e. the internet, you'll be good to go. So it's going to be really exciting, man, to see where some of these gadgets and things go and be thinking about how that can pertain to your business. The next group was driverless cars, DC as they call them, or electric cars. With Tesla, we already talked about our friend Elon hitting the market this year. So a lot of people didn't realize, but they introduced the selfless driving feature in the Tesla car.
Yeah, it hit a bump in the road.
Hit a little bump, but they've announced that they're going to launch and they're going to have that technology improved, I'm assuming, in all of their cars moving out in 2017. Mm-hmm. And so that, along with, there's these rumors that Ford is working with Google to launch their self-driving vehicle too. Now, if Google is going to be involved in that self-driving, I'd probably be a little bit more optimistic in it not hitting a bump since Google owns the maps. I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable that technology is going to be better. I don't know. I'm not a guy that could ever let somebody just drive my car for me anyway and just read a paper while I'm behind the wheel, but maybe eventually I could.
There are some times when you're on the road, like whenever we drive to Destin from here, when we go to Florida, There's a lot of times you just don't want to drive. You just want to
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think
grab your kids' crayons from the front and throw them in the back. Yeah, like that.
Just throw them in the back. I hear you. I don't think it's there yet, but what we're seeing is the advancements in this technology are happening so quickly, right? Just 2 years ago, it was something that would be done in the far future. Well, now we've got it where it's got little hiccups, little bumps. You can only imagine that within another year, these self-driving vehicles are going to be here. I mean, it's going to be, they'll have it hammered out.
It feels like they're watching the Jetsons. The old the old cartoon. They're watching the Jetsons and saying, "What could we do from this?
Yeah,
what could we create? I bet we can do that."
Yeah.
Next thing you know, at home, that you're not going to have to cook because you'll be able to tell something to cook dinner for me.
Yeah,
and it's ready.
It'll be some 3D printer that
minutes.
cooks food.
Yeah, I'm sure that's awesome. I bet it tastes great.
It's just like a thing of grease and just prints French fries.
Well,
that'd be awesome.
If you think about it from this standpoint, a company like Weight Watchers would be good to get behind this, because if they were able to create something like that, because a lot of times people say, well, I just don't have the time to calculate everything for Weight Watchers. I can't calculate the amount of points that I'm eating.
I'm with you.
Well,
that's a good idea,
there's something
Josh.
else that's creating that food for you or making that food.
Uber Eats, they've got a whole thing where they pick up food. They should partner with Weight Watchers. So Uber Eats, Weight Watchers
they
group.
probably should. I shouldn't have said
gosh,
that on the air.
Trademark, patent pending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, we already have something out on that. You can't trademark it.
You don't even bother looking. It's locked down.
We have the audio evidence.
It's true. Date stamp. So on the back end of driving, they talked a lot about drones, and we all know drones have taken off. They've become this huge thing. What was it? There'll be 27 drone manufacturers at CES this year, which is a sign that new features and functionality are coming. And really, the thing that's always been missing with drones, I mean, you know that they've put the little 4X cameras on there, and you can get some amazing video footage, but the problem has always been the flight time. The batteries haven't been good enough to allow you to fly for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So, get too high, too far, and you're not gonna make it back home, right? So there's been some advancements in battery technology that some of these 27 drone manufacturers have been talking about, and so we're pretty sure that's what they're going to be unveiling this year in Vegas. Is going to be extended flight time. And we're starting to see them go into delivery services with some of these drones. They're proving out some of those concepts.
Amazon was talking about it.
Anti-crash, Yeah, Amazon was talking about that. There's a group there that was working on a 2-propeller drones system. So it has 4, but they're trying to prove that even if there's a failure of one, it can auto self-correct itself and stabilize so that it doesn't crash, right? And then now they're working that if 2 of those propellers go out, it'll still safely be able to land and not create a hazard. Because that's kind of the big federal issue. Like
a balance mechanism?
Yeah, something where the drone has to be smart enough to say, hey, I'm not getting enough thrust on this side, so I'm going to overthrust and balance itself out and allow you to still control it.
Well, let me ask you this. How big are the drones right now?
The ones that are at the show were anywhere from 4 inches by 4 inches, the little bitty ones with a little camera in them, to maybe 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, like a square.
So they're not huge.
No, they're not big.
But how much is this going to... Whenever it gets into our airspace, to international airspace, how much of a problem is that going to be?
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, one, these drones aren't going that high, right? So, even helicopters, they've got to check in, but they fly a certain altitude. Drones will probably just be underneath that. And then really what they're doing now is they're putting cameras on the front of the drones with VR headsets, virtual reality headsets, and you're seeing what the drone's seeing. So you're flying this thing by sight. If they can get flight duration up enough, maybe that'll make it make sense. But the more bells and whistles they add, the more battery it's draining. So it'll be interesting to see what they unveil this year. I think it's a market space just ripe for picking. I mean,
one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. Whenever we had those floods here, what was that, like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago? We had some really bad floods, and Highway 6 was shut down for extended period of time. I think it was like a month or something like that. And somebody got their drone to fly over.
Oh yeah, Brazos. Was it over there in Brazos County, or I don't know, one of those? Yeah.
So flew over to show how much was actually flooded, and it was incredible. It's hard to believe because we can't get up there. We don't have our own helicopter to go look at the devastation. We have to watch the news. So
Yeah.
now,
Well,
what
yeah.
you're doing is, with the change of technology, is you don't have to watch the news. You can look at something on YouTube.
Yeah, Facebook, your buddy posted it up there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting when you start thinking about the business applications of that. Inspecting pipelines, inspecting rig sites. You can have a drone that's on a base that's powered. You can remotely turn it on, from another city.
Test the
fly
nuclear.
it, look over a job site, fly it back to its charge pad. That's going to give you accessibility and visibility, anywhere. I mean, it's basically like having like a robot over there. You can go tour the job site.
Doing tests for nuclear waste, like in the Ukraine. You could just have it fly in there to see the levels. I don't know. I'm just thinking. All right.
A lot of things. So, be thinking about that as business.
All right. Man, we've gone
we
a
got
little long
few more.
on this.
I know.
Woo.
We got a few more coming
All right.
up in the next segment. So
Let's
stay
take a
with us.
break real quick. We'll be right back here on The Hook.
They're boarding up this water town.
This is The Hook, back after a little bit of time off. We had some time just to relax and really listen to our shows and think about what we're doing wrong with ourselves in the
Whoa,
program.
easy,
Oh wait,
buddy.
I mean, just to kind of reflect.
How we can improve.
Yes,
Let's step it up. Take it to the next level.
that's Jason Arsmont. He is our marketing maverick, and this show is basically about marketing and branding and overall business and technology and pretty much anything, I guess.
Yeah, anything we can do to help bring the latest things to you, front of mind, tips, advice, war stories, horror stories.
We talked about consumer electronics just a while ago.
Yeah, I just got back from CES Unveil in Paris, and I'm sharing with you guys some things that they shared with us, some new emerging markets, the latest trends in technology and things that are going on. And I thought it'd be interesting to come back and give you guys a little recap, so that's what we're doing.
Cool.
Give you guys a couple more things here that I heard, and then we're going to get to the business tip here in a little bit, so you'll definitely
Wait, we're not doing the business tip right now? Are you?
This is not the business tip. You just can't. You're such a routine guy, man.
I am.
We're free flowing right now, man.
I'm by schedule.
Schedule. So, so we had some really cool stuff with, voice computing, driverless cars, electric cars. We talked about drones last segment. The other big thing is in AR and VR.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
You are. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people are like, I don't know what that is.
Augmented and virtual.
Yeah, all right.
Augmented reality is what Pokemon, that new Pokemon game is.
Yes, because
Okay.
it's augmenting actual reality, not just taking you to a virtual one.
Correct.
Good thing, what I learned here at CES is that if you ever get confused or you don't know which R to use, A or V, you can just go with A.
Okay.
Apparently, AR really refers to the interaction of data in a virtual setting. So, when in doubt, you can just call it AR.
Well, because you're looking through a screen. Here's the difference. Okay, whenever you're looking through the screen, like if you play Pokemon Go, the background of what's happening on your, like, the game is actually being played with the background of maybe your living room, wherever you're sitting. If you're outside by your car and your car is in the background,
And then you're augmenting that reality, that background.
by the game that's playing on your computer, on your phone, on whatever device it is. Virtual reality is you're submerged into another world, basically.
Right. There's nothing real about it.
Into 3D animation that looks very real.
Yeah. And I really think that VR world has taken off. I mean, they said those headsets, some of the game stations. I got one for my son for his birthday. They're going to reach 14 million units this year alone. And the technology is really just coming out. I mean, it's good, it's cool, but I mean, you can see where there's so much room for improvement in the virtual reality stuff. What I'm really excited about from a business standpoint is the AR, the augmented reality. A good example of that is if you take your phone, you go into an app and you hold your phone up and like the camera's looking at, say, a building, and your phone recognizes the shape of that building and then pulls out information that it finds from Google about who's in that building, what business, what suite number they're in. You can pre-program things like your piece of equipment that you sell. You can have an app where your phone, if they put their phone on your piece of equipment, it'll pop up like a 3D CAD drawing of that piece of equipment, and you can spin it around on your phone and get all the technical specifications and white papers and information on it. I mean, that's augmented reality, and I think that's going to be hot for business, for marketing. I mean, oh man,
does it pick up on the what the object looks like, or does it pick up a signal from some chip that's on the piece of equipment?
Two ways. It's all, at least the ones that I interacted with at the show, are all through the camera. So
Okay.
they're recognizing a pattern. So like a QR code has a visual pattern to it that the camera recognizes. So some of them are similar to that QR code, and based on that QR code, I'm calling it it's not a QR code, but something like that. It recognizes the code that you put on the piece of equipment, so it knows what to display. Others, there are where it's actually there's no code. It's just the outline or the shape of a building or the shape that's something that's already been preloaded into that application.
Okay.
But I think that kind of stuff is going to be huge for marketing pieces. I mean, I think that's how we're going to see instructions when you buy something for the house. Comes with instructions. I think you're going to see that in the future, where you just pull up your laptop or your iPad, put the camera on it, and you can just tap anywhere that you're having problems with it. And I mean, it was really neat. I mean, you could take a whole motor apart with.
Is that
some of
going
these
to
apps.
negatively affect our military though? I'm wondering if you have this equipment, or you can pick out equipment and you're in a camouflage setting, or if you're in the middle of the desert, if you hold up some a phone, not a phone, but something to where you can see that, then you can spot things that you wouldn't be able to see with the naked eye.
Could be, but keep in mind that it's only going to have data on what's been preloaded to that particular application.
Okay,
right. So you couldn't just walk up to some random like you and put the camera on you, and the app's going to know who you are. We would have to take a picture of you, it recognize your outline, and then preload, say, when you see this outline, show this data.
So yes, it will affect the military at some point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess everything will be. They'll be the ones that perfect it probably, right? But I would be on the big lookout for that. AR, you're seeing a lot more developers and programmers that have experience in building those type of applications for companies to increase user experience, maybe increase sales experiences.
And that started
Could
with
be
Google
really, really
Glass too, because Google Glass was able to do that, to pick out things whenever you're looking, just say you're in Times Square, then it would pop things up, right? To where it would tell you about different places that you were looking at in your Google Glass.
Absolutely. And I think for whatever reason, that technology kind of failed in the minds of the consumer, but I would look for advancements in that technology coming back out in that way. They're looking at, pretty soon your TV at home will just be a piece of glass, and whatever's projecting to it or from it or whatever is going to be the technology itself.
Because I think that people don't want extra pieces of equipment. They don't want to have to put the glass on. Yeah, if you can use your
walk
phone.
around looking like a cyclops or something.
Yeah, I guess everybody uses their phone. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be cool. So look for that. Think about that with your business. Wearable technology was the last category here, and this is just a fun category. Big launch in 2015 with Apple Watches and Fitbits, and I guess probably even before that when they first started coming out. But it's basically technology that you can wear. So we're all familiar with the Fitbits, right?
Yeah. Did you have you ever had a Fitbit?
No, I never had one.
I had one, and I lost it at the Chinese buffet.
I'm
not lying.
There's not a better place for you to have lost it. That's hilarious.
I was wearing it at the Chinese buffet, and I don't know what happened.
How
but
many steps did I get in?
I lost it.
I tripped. Oh man, you were going to town on the buffet. You lost the Fitbit. Yeah, so those types of things are really, really neat. I met two companies while I was there. I'll give a quick shout out. They're not paying for this plug, but I was really impressed with what they do. One company is a company called Digisole, Digit Sole. And S-O-L-E as in like sole of your foot. And what they do is they started out with a insert, like a shoe insert. And it would basically had a chip that would sync to your phone and give you data about how much pressure was being put on the insert from your heel or your toe or the arch of your foot, or where there was support needed, how long you'd been on your feet. It's kind of pretty interesting data, especially if you're a runner. Or maybe if you're in the HR department and you want to know how long your employees have been on their feet, or are they getting fatigued?
Big brother.
Issues there? Well, it's great for, health insurance reasons and employee wellness programs. I mean, it's a really cool thing. And so I think they launched that last year. This year they have a whole shoe. So now you put the shoe on, you run in their shoe, and the shoe gives you instant feedback about autocorrecting. So it syncs with your phone and gives a headpiece. And as you're running, it will tell you if your ankles are getting fatigued and you're starting to roll in, or if you're becoming supinated or pronated. If your stride's changing, you're not lifting your heel quick enough to get off on the front of your toe. And I just thought that was really neat. As a runner myself, I was just blown away by like, man, had I had that technology when I was really learning how to run, assuming it's good advice.
If you wear those
cool.
to do marathons to qualify for the Boston Marathon,
Is it cheating?
Is that considered an unfair advantage? I'm just wondering for the future.
The naturalist in me wants to say yeah.
Okay, and the
I think
reason
I personally feel like that would have to be for training.
the reason I ask that is because you're not even supposed to wear headphones whenever
Yeah.
you do marathons or whenever you're running, because they won't let you qualify for the Boston Marathon if you wear headphones. I think
Yeah.
That they're sticklers for that they want to make sure that you're not increasing your pace because of the music that's
Yeah.
playing in your head.
Yeah, very, very interesting, and I think that's fair. You're right. So no Digisol for marathons.
Okay.
But go check them out. The other one is a company called CT Band, and this is basically a replacement leather strap for your wristwatch.
Okay.
Now, I agree that these cool Apple Watches are cool. The problem is I know a lot of guys who spend a lot of money on their watch collection, and they've got some really nice faces, and they're not about to put an Apple Watch face on, in replace of their $50,000, $100,000 watch. So what this company does is they give you a replacement leather strap, and inside that leather strap, there's a small little window that syncs up to your phone and displays all of that same Apple information.
wow.
So it's really, really cool. I thought that was a perfect way to integrate technology with old school stuff. CT Band, go check them out. I know we're about to run out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we're
Josh is
gonna
looking
run
at
out
me.
of in about 30 seconds. We're going to go to break. Okay. Let's go ahead and do it now, because up next we have your business tip.
Officially, yes. Now we'll do the business tip.
All right, that's coming up. Jason Arsmont right there, the Marketing Maverick. You're listening to The Hook. It's now time for your favorite segment that we have on this radio show.
Favorite?
Yeah, the last segment.
Oh, come on, man.
It's Trick or Treat Week. What can I say? I don't know.
Bringing it back.
My name is Josh, along with the Marketing Maverick. That's Jason Arsmont. You're listening to the show called The Hook, always online, thehookradio.com. You can listen to past episodes, and you can also email us, find information on any one of our companies, which there are quite a few by now. I feel like we're going to have another company at any minute.
We could.
We could?
Well, we've got the marketing firm at Brightbox. We've got trade show exhibits at Showbox. We've got our own print company, Inkbox Printing. We've got an HR outsourcing group in Shadowbox, talent and acquisition group. What else? We got corporate training with Ontobox.
Yeah, we're due for something new any minute now.
We're boxed out.
If you do another box company.
Well, we've got just under 100 employees across all these companies, and it's really kind of bringing together this vision I had almost 10 years ago of having a group that can help build your company from start to finish. So if you're listening and you need any support, any areas of your business are lacking or falling or just not getting the output that they can get, give us a call. Go to the website. Get in touch with me. I'd love to come out and talk with you, see how we can help.
How about a business tip?
How about a business tip for now? Yeah, so
I want that.
today I want to talk a little bit. We've been talking about CES Unveiling in Paris. I just got back from sharing with you guys some of the emerging technology and trends and stuff that are going on. And so I figured we'd talk a little bit about integrating technology into your business. It's interesting. If done correctly, technology really in and of itself can be a huge advantage, against the competition. Whether it be integrated in your go-to-market strategy or within your daily operations of your company, digitize, simplify, and track is what it's all about. And I know that's something that I wouldn't say we've struggled with at my own companies. We've been aware of that. I mean, whenever I first started our marketing firm and there was 2 employees, we just put tons of time into building our own custom CRM platform so that we could track our leads, we could track our jobs, we could track our invoices, and there was 2 of us. But I knew that if I had a program when we started and we could start operating that way, it was going to help as we got bigger and more projects came in and more employees and all that kind of stuff.
You've come a long way with that.
We have.
With what you're using now.
Well, yeah. And we're constantly trying to update that. And I always kind of keep that in the back of my mind is digitize, simplify, and track. And if you can do those things, then you can run your business in a more automated way. It gives you more freedom, more flexibility, saves you time, saves you money. And remember, if you're not a tech-savvy person, that the way that to look at it, or just the quote that I always try to remember, I remind people of that are just like, they're just like, just you're having to pull them through into the this 21st century of technology, is that growth and comfort, they never coexist. So it's going to be a little uncomfortable. You're going to have to learn some new ways of looking at, interpreting, and interacting with data in order to get comfortable with it. But remember that while you may not be all that comfortable initially, you have a team, you have staff members who are using outdated, antiquated folder systems to track jobs and folders. And that's just not how, this next generation, this wave of people coming into the workplace don't work that way. Mm-hmm. So if you don't get your system or your company up and running, you're definitely going to need to in order to stay competitive, just to keep employees, because people aren't going to work in a folder system for very long. And so I guess there's two kind of main points here that I want to talk about that I talk with clients the most about. And one is wireless meeting rooms. And that can be literally a room in your building that is a conference room that you can plug into from anywhere, that has video and has all this conferencing ability, or something as simple as GoToMeeting. Mm-hmm. And I know, Josh, you've been big on this over the past year, right?
Man, I use it probably 8-9 times a week. Yeah. Something like that.
I mean, it's just huge, you guys. I mean, and I wouldn't say you were, resistant to it, but you had all of your meetings before used to be in person. Mm-hmm. And then when we started using GoToMeeting more often, I mean, you came back to me and you were like, oh my God, I have saved so much time not driving all over the city or waiting for clients to get to the wrong address to get to our office.
Well, the thing is that a lot of my clients, they'll say, hey, look, I'm so sorry that I just had another meeting come up. I'm going to have to bump you. And I'm in the middle of driving there.
Right. Yeah.
So if I'm on the way over and I'm about to pull in and they say I'm not able to do it, then that just takes a lot of time.
Another 45 minutes back to the office.
And then I had to cancel other meetings to make that one happen.
Yeah.
GoToMeeting is it's been a time saver.
Yeah. And there's a lot of platforms. We're not advocating only GoToMeeting. That's the one that we use at our office. It's been fine. I'm sure there's probably even, quote unquote, better platforms. But it's been fine for us. It allows you to, share computers. Well, not share computers, but you can share controls and share what you can show people what's on your desktop.
Yeah, and some of my clients
show them contracts, websites.
Some of my clients also, they are in other places. They'll go to Colorado for business, and so I can keep them on track with what we're doing for them. Mm-hmm. At the same time that they're able to go other places, and we can still have a meeting, and we can meet with someone else that's in another part of the country.
And I won't say who, but we've got clients from other countries, and when you're just on audio on a phone, it can be difficult to communicate. Mm-hmm. Really grasping exactly what they're saying and understanding. With something like GoToMeeting or other wireless meeting rooms, they have video. And so they can be on video, we're on video, we can watch them, they can watch us, we can see their facial expressions, their body language, especially if we're proposing a contract or pitching a contract or a new job. I love to do those on video so that they can see us, the energy, the excitement, the youth, and the presentation that we have, and we can see them. We can see if they're, how they're digging it. And a lot of times you just can't get that over the phone. So I'm a big advocate of this. It was talked a lot about other wireless meeting room technologies. So I'm sure if you Google the term, you're going to find all other cool devices and technology out there for that. The other one is just that I want to talk a little bit about, and we kind of talked about it a little bit already, is automation of data entry. It's still, so one of the reports said, oh man, I can't remember the exact amount, but there's a huge amount of data entry still going on. Like a lot of what we do is doing work that's on the computer. Mm-hmm. That can be said, that could be seen as data entry. If you're drafting a Google Doc, if you're taking patient records or client records and putting them into the computer, that could be seen as data entry. And we talked about the voice communication recognition software earlier. Think about how you can integrate that into your system. Can you dictate your proposals a little bit better? Mm-hmm. They said there was a 65% increase in accuracy from voice input of data versus typing.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're constantly going through sheets of client information and you're typing it into a system, you will be 65% more on average. I'm sure there's some people that are 100% fine typing, but on average, they saw a 65% increase in effectiveness and accuracy when you're reading that data that you're putting into the system, which is really, really neat. Because, I mean, think about it. You don't really mess up when you're just reading the client information versus typing it in and you're missing letters or, you're mistyping a word.
It's one of those things that I have never tried, and I would think, God, this could be so much work. But it's like anything else. And whenever people didn't use computers or the internet, it's going to be a lot of work to understand that and catch up. But once you're there, it's so easy.
Yeah.
So you may want to stay ahead of the curve on it.
Well, yeah, I agree. And I've resisted
Curb or
that.
curve?
Curb.
It would be curve.
I think it's always a curb. We're talking about it being a hurdle. Let's stay ahead of the hurdle on that. Yeah. Well, it goes back to that quote, right? Growth and comfort never coexist. And I'm the same way. I've never been one to talk into my phone for text messages or do any of that. I've kind of made like a resolution that I'm going to try to do more of that going into next year. I want to do more voice commuting to my electronics because hearing what's coming up, it's going to be a big part of computers in the future, and I don't want to be left in the dust and not know how to talk to my computer.
Yeah, true.
As long as it doesn't talk back, I'll be right. So the other part that comes with this, though, when you're looking at integrating technology, and we've got all these technology salespeople that call us all the time from Salesforce and all these different companies, and there's nothing wrong with Salesforce. We use it too. Is understanding how to choose or integrate this new technology. One, make sure you do your homework and find businesses who are currently happily using that same platform. We did this with one of our companies. We were going to roll out a new piece of software, and we went through a couple different rounds of interviews with the software company. It sounded great, sounded amazing. We launched it. Come to find out, we were one of the beta clients.
Oh.
Like one of the very first ones. Half the features weren't working, and they were basically testing it on us. So had we done a little bit better homework, called around to some other happy clients of theirs, we would have found out that, full disclosure, we ended up staying with that company. They worked it all out. It was great, but it was a lot more headache not knowing that going into it. The other thing about software, quality over quantity is usually a really good rule. So rather than maybe looking for a total system, finding something that works really, really well, in integrating that one piece of technology rather than looking at your whole company. Let's just automate and get the whole company updated with all types of new digital technology. Let's just find little pieces of technology that work extremely well. And one thing that could be said for that when it comes to software or web systems is open source over paid solutions. So if you're going to pay for it, usually there's a premium because they've put the time into it. And so There's a lot more. I'm going to try to update these to our website so that you guys can see them. Make sure you understand features and benefits fully, not just a bullet point system, and then ask about the maintenance and support.
That's
Make sure
huge.
Someone is going to be there when you have problems because it's going to happen, right? Especially if you're like me, you're not 100% tech savvy. I'm all right, but I need help. Like when I get down to the nitty gritty of it, nitty gritty of things, I need a little bit of extra explanation. So make sure that the program, what you're doing, comes with some type of maintenance and support. You will be all right.
All right, hit our website, thehookradio.com. That's all the time we have for this week. We'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for listening to The Hook.